Welcome back to Success Through Risk, an Entrepreneur's Tale. I'm your host, Monica Danaher, and today I have the wonderful and amazing Debi Kinney. Debi, how are you?
I'm so great. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to have you here and to share your story with all of us. Debi is a health and wellness coach based in Las Vegas, but she is serving clients coast to coast, and she is guiding them to reach their goals and become the best version of themselves, which I absolutely love. So Debi, if you could just introduce yourself a little bit more and tell us about how you got to be your entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I have an entrepreneur's heart, and I think I was like trying to sell rocks to the neighbors when I was teeny tiny. So I am a mom to an almost teenager. He'll be 13 in January. I'm a dog mom, which I know we have in common.
Yes.
A wife. I'm very heavily involved in the nonprofit charity world. And I've always just loved helping people from when I was little. So I actually got into health and wellness at the age of 13.
Wow.
I became a certified, back then it was called an aerobics instructor. Now I think it's called group fitness, but I got into that at the age of 13 and absolutely loved it. And I actually taught all the way through high school, college, and into my 20s.
That's awesome.
And it was really fun. It was a great job. You get paid to work out. Nothing better, right?
Yeah, right. And like, I guess you can probably do a lot of it, like build your own schedule and stuff too, right?
Absolutely. Built it around
classes, yes.
And at the same time, I also started to go into the career field of hospitality. So event planning, wanted to be J-Lo with the microphone from the wedding planner. And as I sort of climbed the corporate ladder with events, I had to put the aerobic step to the side. Yeah. And I always continued my own physical fitness and the health and wellness journey. That's a value that's always been important to me. And as I went through my career, I was always kind of known as like, I ate pretty clean. I worked out a lot. And so it was something that it was part of my lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when the pandemic hit, we didn't know, which is crazy to look back at now, but we didn't even know if events were going to come back.
Yeah. Isn't that wild to think about?
It's wild to look back at it now, but it was wild in the moment to think.
I know.
Yeah. So I started to really think about how I could help people.
And you were still corporate then, right?
I was still corporate.
When everything shut down. Okay.
Yeah, I was the general manager of an event management firm. And so I started to mentor people in the hospitality industry just to help them kind of bring their resume up to date and try to make the best use of such a quiet time.
Right, exactly.
But a few months in, it got really quiet and scary and we just didn't know. So I was approached to become a coach, and I thought, well, that's totally up my alley. I would love to do that. So I started coaching with every intention of it being a side hustle,
Right.
It served my entrepreneurial spirit. It definitely was aligned with my personal values. And so it checked all the boxes. So I started coaching, and within 6 months, I built my business up where I could actually leave hospitality.
That's amazing.
It was amazing. And, it didn't come without risk. It didn't come without fear.
Of course. Yeah.
A lot of conversations with my husband, but it also came in a time where I could, I was 45 years old at the time. So, switching careers midlife has its own set of challenges, but it was also at a pivotal point in my son's life where I could manage my own schedule and be more present, because events are nights and weekends. So I was missing some time with my kid. And so decided to take the leap. And then 6 months in, just said, I'm going to do this full time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been.
That's so great. Now, when you started, did you think like, in X amount of years, I'm going to make this my end game? Or was that ever a thought? Or was it just kind of like one day you're like 6 months in and, oh my gosh, like I need to just focus on this. Like,
that's
business
such
is
a great
crazy.
I didn't, when I started it as the side hustle, I didn't think like, oh, I can do this. And I'm going to just give it 3 years and then I'm going to switch. But I will tell you, from the time when I was teaching, when I was young, when I was pregnant with my son, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go back to personal training so I can spend all my time with him when he's born. And that just didn't happen.
Yeah.
But I thought about it often throughout my life and my career, and it always just stayed with me, but I just didn't know how to make that leap or make that transition. And so I'm just a big believer in things happening very organically and authentically, and when they're supposed to.
Yes.
And so when I started the side hustle, it was with every intention of it just being kind of a side gig and almost like a passion project.
Yeah.
But because it was so well received and the business grew so quickly, and because hospitality at the time was really this nebulous thing, and I just said, you know what, I think I can do this. And I literally remember sitting in my office, crunching the numbers one day and calling my husband and being like, I think I can do this full time.
That's awesome.
I'm like, check my math.
Yeah, right.
You're
like,
the scientist, check my math.
This can't be right.
Totally. And he was like, no, we can make this happen. And so he was super supportive. That's great. I've been able to really grow my business. I started with health coaching. And then I had some friends of mine approach me and said, I really want you to coach me, but I'm not really focused on like health and nutrition right now. I've really got some business goals or some life goals. So I became a certified life purpose life coach. And
I'm sure that they probably mesh really well together. I mean, there's so many things that, the way you eat and working out and everything like that, it trickles down to everything you do day to day.
Everything works together as part of a holistic system. And that's sort of how I've authentically grown my business. I went from health to life. Then I added in personal training to add the exercise piece. Then I came back and I added in nutrition. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm coming up on my 3-year anniversary for my own business, which is called Hello Coaching. And that really, you have these epiphanies. So I called it Hello Coaching. I named it Hello because it's the acronym HELLO, health, exercise, and life coaching for limitless outcomes. So
there you go. Yeah.
And I didn't know when I named it, like, I think I had an idea of where I was going, but I didn't know if I would make it. And so it all sort of came full circle. But yes, that's health and wellness as an umbrella, you can eat as healthy as you want, but if you've got a terrible mindset, it's going to, if you go to the gym, and this is what a lot of people do, if you go to the gym all the time and work out your hardest, but then you don't eat well, you don't get the results you want. So it is a holistic system, and every piece that you can incrementally get better and grow will only help you level up in your life.
Yeah. And I wonder if a lot of your clients are like me, as I'm thinking here, talking to you, that, like for me, I'm always on the run. I'm always in my car, and just like, so tying that into the healthy eating, just knowing healthy snacks that I can have, or something quick that I can pack, or the right way to pack things, or that's probably, definitely can see how that would work out. So that's great. That must be super beneficial for your clients. I'm sure they love it.
Absolutely. And I come from that lifestyle. I've always been a corporate professional on the run. And so we do spend a lot of time. The majority of my clients are busy corporate executives, busy moms, that just are always on the run. So we talk a lot about frequency of eating and portions so that your blood sugar and your insulin stay stable and your energy stays up. We talk about fitting in those workouts. They can be shorter, but more consistent. So we talk about all those little modifications that will just take your health and your wellness a notch up.
Right. And then, working with you long term, I'm sure you adjust those as needed. Once 100%. They're starting to feel better, then they go on to the next step. And that's awesome. So what are 3 things that helped you reach success that you think, that to make you feel like you're, so I was telling the last guest, and something that I said in my episode was, for me, this isn't about being a top producer. I'm not like a huge multi-million-dollar agent. Like, that's not what this is about. It's more about that I have made these small goals and I've been really successful in my journey. So what do you feel has been helpful in yours?
Oh, I love that question. So I think first and foremost is just a belief in myself. Similar to you, I'm not trying to be, a fitness influencer on Instagram.
Right.
I'm not trying to build a multi-million-dollar business. I'm trying to impact people one at a time and just help them reach their goals, whether it's in health or fitness or lifestyle.
Mhm.
And so really being confident and realistic in what my skill set is, what my education is, and how I deliver it, the process, because anybody can go out and buy any system, but if you buy it and don't use it, nobody's going to get anywhere. You don't get anywhere. So
right. And not every system is for everybody, right?
Correct.
So, you know, working in all of the back end stuff that I'm sure you do with your clients is a huge part of that people don't even talk about.
Exactly right. So I think having the belief in myself and the process, and knowing that the process is 75% of success, because everybody has access to anything in this world anymore, but it's really how you implement. So belief in myself and my process is number one. Number two, is you nailed it on the head, is being able to customize different plans and programs for different people. Keto is great for a lot of people. Keto would never work for me. And so really being able to listen to what my clients are telling me as far as lifestyle and goals and likes and dislikes and abilities. And so really being able to customize a program for each particular individual person, that's been really huge. And then I think number three, as far as success goes, is educating myself. So I love to learn. I mean, if you could see my desk right now, I literally have piles of books because I'm researching a project right now. That was
mine. Oh my gosh. I had to focus my camera so you couldn't see the massive amount of stuff everywhere.
Totally very strategically placed. And so I am a big believer. I'm lucky, and then I've got really great instinct. I've got a brain that just strategizes in a certain way, is great with process, but I'm a big believer in continuing to educate myself and looking at all the gray area. I'm not a big black and white thinker. I like to look at this way of thinking and this way of thinking, and then sort of decide my stance or what the best application of that particular topic is in any given situation. But even for me, as you know, I was in health and wellness at 13 years old. I could have hung my hat on that, but I went back and I got 5 specific different certifications because I want to know I have the most current relevant education to present to my clients. That's really important to me as a value, is that educational piece. And so I think that that is something I would look for, and that's something that I want to connect with my clients on, is having that education and the belief in what research and what science and what the general population says and experiences. So those would be my 3.
I love that. I love that so much. And I am such a believer in the education process too. I mean, my, favorite clients to work with are those ones that are first-time home buyers or those first-time sellers, because it's a new thing for them. They've bought before, but they've never sold before, or maybe they've never bought at all. So yeah, definitely educating. And it is, you're in an industry too that's constantly changing, or that is huge and expansive, because not every trend is going to work for everybody else. So you have to constantly be learning and keeping up to date, because you never know who's going to want to be working with you and what what their situation and their health situation might be. So how have you built your business so quickly? I mean, was it a lot of networking? Was it a lot of Sphere? Was it a lot of, people that you just knew from, wherever?
So from start to business to now has been a total 180. So start to business, it was November of 2020. Everything was on social media. And that was such a different marketplace. And again, I always led with the intention of very authentic and vulnerable, and hey, I'm dipping my toe back into health and wellness. If you're interested, let's talk. I've shared my story, my own personal transformation, which continues to evolve. I don't believe that health and wellness is like a start and stop. It is a constant evolution. My logo is actually a spiral, and that's because that represents that. It wouldn't be a circle because it's not a start and close. It's constantly growing and evolving. And so 2020, 2021, very different marketplace. I could literally post something and get 5 or 10 people wondering about it. Fast forward to now, there's such a saturated health and wellness market, and just in general, I feel like
Right.
social media is really like a selling platform in so many ways.
And
So,
since 2020, I mean, I feel like it's always been in some way, but since
yes.
2020, I feel like even more so across all social
100%,
platforms. Yeah.
100%. And so I really intentionally, for growing my business, I am very, very thoughtful about what I am posting. I don't just post about, oh, do you want to get healthy? Do you want to feel better? I share stories about my family. I post a variety of pictures and stories, not just because it's a strategy, but because that's who I am. And the people that I want to work with, I want to build a relationship with, and I want them to know about me just as much as I know about them, because that's only going to enhance their own journey, their trust of me. And so just in the last, I would say 6 months, I've started to get out and do some more in-person networking a little bit more. But the majority of my business is actually from referrals.
Yeah.
So referrals is my number one business source.
Mhm.
Social media would be number two, and then more like in-person networking, or I've spoken at seminars and different types of events. That would be number three.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what do you think the biggest risk was? I think you may have kind of already answered this, but in general, the biggest risk, deciding to go from that at 6 months, what do you think it was? What was your number one fear, I guess is what I want to say, is moving forward?
And this isn't just becoming an entrepreneur. This has to do with any sort of health journey or anything. It's not giving up when things get hard.
Yeah.
So,
I love that so much.
And our culture is so used to instant gratification that we don't look at, okay, well, maybe I just need to modify something, or maybe I just need to like wait it out. Maybe the timing isn't right. We're very used to wanting something and wanting it yesterday, that we don't actually give things the full time. And so, especially in business and especially as an entrepreneur, of course, there's days where I doubt myself, or I wonder if, oh gosh, the market is so saturated, or gosh, am I not as good as I, want to be and want to be there for my clients? And so I think just really letting things play out and always looking for solutions, but giving things the right amount of time.
Yeah.
I think that's a really, really important lesson. I think it's something that just in general we've gotten away from, but especially as business owners, I've seen people walk away from businesses when they just have a rough week and they're like, oh, this isn't for me, I'm going to do something else. It's like, what?
Yeah, that's crazy. Oh my gosh. I have not seen that in my journey yet, but oh my gosh. Yeah. That's sad. That's sad.
It's
with all
sad,
the work and I mean, I
know.
guess it's true, but yes, I get what you're saying. I mean, I feel the exact same way. You definitely, you have to stay focused, and I'm a firm believer that you have to stay interested in what you're doing. And you, even if it is, you're working through what you thought it was going to be, and it starts to change, that's okay. And just stick with and go with where your passion lies and where you're comfortable and what you like. That's my theory. So
yeah, there's definitely an integration of sticking with the plan and having, like you said, that overall vision of what your passion and your purpose is, while still remaining flexible in approach.
Absolutely.
And so there's just a happy medium somewhere, and that happy medium is like a moving target at any given moment.
Yep.
But really training your mind to stay focused while staying flexible is just a part of, especially entrepreneurship, but really any journey. Because marriage, business, everything gets hard sometimes.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
So the more we can really strengthen our ability to focus while being flexible, just the more well-rounded we will be as humans, right?
Yes.
And as partners and as our own, business people.
Absolutely. And something else is, like, I always say, you need to be really forgiving, like not just of yourself, but of other people too, because you're not going to be for everyone, and it's okay.
And that is okay.
Yeah. And just keep going with it. So, okay. So what are your top 3 essential traits for an essential entrepreneur?
Oh my gosh. Top 3 traits for, oh gosh. I think confidence, it would be number 1. And not in a egocentric, cocky kind of way, but just almost like a quiet confidence of I know who I am and I know what I have to offer, and really remaining like grounded in that.
Yes.
Number two is going to be that passion or that purpose piece, because when times get tough or when you kind of go off course and things get a little blurry, when you can come back to that passion or that purpose, it just resets everything. There's been times where, I either haven't been able to work with a client that I was really excited to help, or I have clients that do really great and they reach their goals and they graduate, and like, I'm so happy for them, but then I miss them. You know? So there's a variety of feelings that go into that. And so really focusing on, well, what was that intention? What was that passion and that purpose? I think that's really important to be able to come to a place to come back to. And third, I think it's having a really great, whether you want to call it a community or a support network. I am finding, going into my third year of business, how important it is for me to be able to kind of riff about my different business ideas. And this is what I'm talking about. And this is the direction I want to go. And to have someone both on the inside of my industry, but also not on the inside of my industry, to ask questions back, because it's only going to give you more clarity on how to explain your services, how to describe what you do. Is where I'm going really relevant? Does it make sense to other people? And so that community or that support network, I think, is really, really critical.
Yeah, I love that. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And before we finish off here, why don't you just tell everyone where they can find you?
Absolutely. Thank you again for having me as a guest.
Yeah, of course.
I'm so glad that we connected. And
I know.
My website is the best place to find me, because that leads to everything else. Email, social media. I've got some really great downloadable quizzes and tools there. I've got a life planning checklist, which is amazing. It's really getting all of your really important documents together so that it's a one-stop shop. So heaven forbid there's a tragedy.
I know what I'm doing this afternoon.
Right. Yeah. Heaven forbid there's a tragedy or a fire or something. It's literally a binder you can grab and go. It's amazing. That's a free download. But hellocoaching.info is my website. And all of my services are explained there. I've got a monthly newsletter there that you can sign up for. And I'm always delivering. I really focus on adding value, because I feel like the more value I can add to people's lives, whether they choose me to coach them or not, I'm still making impact, even if I don't know it. And that just feels good.
You definitely are. Yes, I love that. And I followed you on Instagram, but I have not checked out your website yet. So I'm definitely going over there. And wherever you are listening or watching this, Debi's information will be posted. So definitely be sure to check her out. And that is it. Is there anything else you want to send us off with or share with us, or anything exciting you have for the upcoming year?
Yes, absolutely. So I will say, for anyone that's considering working with me, I always do a complimentary consultation. That way you get to know me and my style. I get to hear about where you're at, what your goals are. We get to sort of talk about how I can help and talk through what that would look like, so that it's really a very low risk way to explore if coaching is right for you. I offer various packages from, a single session all the way up to a year-long session. And so I really encourage you to reach out for a complimentary consultation and see if that's a good fit for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And I will probably be doing that very soon. So, all right. Well, thank you so much, Debi. It was great talking to you, and we will see you next week.